The world is dark and broken, but we're not. Not yet. We stare into the face of death every day. Until one day, that face is our own. How do you come back from that? My dad wanted mercy to prevail over wrath. If we lose that, we lose everything.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Walking Dead series by The Verdict's In. I'm your host, Nicole.
I'm Gary.
And today we're talking about The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 22, entitled Faith. Gary, what are your overall thoughts of the episode?
Me and Nicole had a conversation before the podcast, and she told me don't come in soft. Don't come in like a BS. She said, Gary, you better talk about it how you talked about it while we was watching.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about it how I talked about it while we was watching. This wasn't it. This wasn't the episode. After last week's episode, I thought it was on and popping from there.
Yeah.
I thought everything was uphill. I couldn't bring myself to do an instant cast. I told Nicole they would have to jump out this TV and kidnap her and make her start working before I do an instant cast on this.
You did.
Because it was so many lows. Well, I can't say low. It was just a regular episode, and they tried to throw some stuff in there for that shock and awe because they thought they had us. Mm-hmm. Especially at the end when he said, let's fuck shit up.
Yeah.
They thought I was killing the game with that one. They thought we was going to be like, ooh.
Right.
But we wasn't.
Yeah, I thought it was horrible. I did not like this episode.
Oh, I didn't know you was coming like that.
Yeah, I'm coming in hard. I didn't like this episode at all to the
Horrible.
point when... Horrible. To the point when we were watching, as the show went on and just went on, I was like, Gary, I don't have it in me to do an instant cast. Because if whatever I say on the instant cast, I'm not going to have anything more to add to it of value for the full recap. Because it was just trash. You know, it was not good. Even with the little banger at the end with Mercer, which is like, Mercer, it is too late. What you mean fuck shit up? You sat there through that whole trial. But we supposed to be impressed now? But anywho, so we'll get into it. We have a few likes, but honestly, and I don't know, I probably said this before, but I have like twice as many dislikes than I do likes. Maybe even 3 times as many dislikes as I do likes.
Let's get into it.
All right, let's get into it then. All right, first like. Elijah, and then these likes were like, I had to pull them out. But Elijah, when he was telling Lydia to be smarter when she killed the walker, sort of at the beginning of the episode, he was like, you don't know which one is a climber. I'm like, okay, it's a little name, but he's right. He is right. He's right. We already seen what these walkers can do. I think they went a little too far in what these walkers can do throughout the episode. We'll talk about that with the walker picking up that knife. And I'm like, okay, y'all, now you're doing too much. But in this case, he was correct. Like, yo, you got to fight it differently now that we know what's out here.
And he's right.
Yeah.
He's right. We seen the walker duck, dodge, and we're not talking about a whisper.
Yeah.
We're talking about the walker. Now we see one do a little army crawl to a knife.
Mm-hmm. That was ridiculous.
That was ridiculous. Like, how do you know the knife was down there?
It's in the dark.
It's in the dark. Or did he just happen to fall and like, oh, here's a knife?
It was too much.
They probably thought they got us with that one too.
Yeah, they probably like, oh, they're gonna be like, oh no. I was like, no, y'all doing too much now.
We was like, oh no.
Yeah, we were like, oh no, who decided this? So, all right, Pamela telling that obvious lie that her son's voice was altered. I don't even know why this is like, but I guess I wish they had called Max up to testify because she was sitting right there. She was like, but I thought it was realistic that Pamela told that lie, especially with like politicians. They'll just say an outright lie with a straight face.
Like we didn't see it.
Like we didn't see it. I'm like, come on, Pamela, are you really expecting us to believe that? But I'm like, you know what? It matches. It tracks.
I kind of respected that.
Yeah. I'm like, these politicians, they'll just say the lie. Straight face, no problem. Don't blink. No problem. I don't know why it made my like list, but maybe because it was real.
Was a like. It was real.
Maggie telling Carol sometimes she thinks it wasn't fair for her to bring Herschel into this world and that it was selfish. And we sort of talked about that. I think we talked about it more when Rosita had her baby. You said something when Rosita got baby.
Yeah, that is selfish.
It is.
You're bringing a baby. Like, who's thinking about bringing a baby in the world right now?
It's not. The world is not right for a baby.
Yeah, it's not getting better.
Yeah. And even with Lori, it was sort of still new. They probably didn't. I mean, she tried to fix that situation. But luckily she didn't, because we loved little Judith. But in her case, it was so new. You know, we didn't know what it was going to happen. They didn't know that it was going to be like this forever. They still had hope. They still had faith. But in this case, when Maggie said that, I kind of helped but couldn't agree with her. Like, it was a little selfish. And I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to offend anyone, especially with whatever your stance on is on that. But
it's
like,
a zombie apocalypse.
It's a zombie apocalypse. Like, come on. Like, come on. The baby got to be in fear the whole life. The baby got How many times a kid got to get kidnapped through life? Herschel has seen some shit that you never want your kids to see.
Yeah, Herschel's seen some shit.
You know, he didn't even get to meet his dad because his dad was killed before he was born.
And obviously heard the story.
He's heard the story. He's had a gun. He's a little kid that's held a gun and almost fired it. So he's just seen some things. Even Judith. We talk about how Judith is a badass, but it's like, in a way that is so sad that this little kid is up here killing, having to kill people.
Yeah, how old is Herschel? How old are the kids?
Herschel got to be like 8.
8?
Yeah, because he has to be a few years younger than Judith. You know, Judith's probably like 11. She's a small 11. She's probably like 11 or 12. So.
Yeah, she's 8 years too late for this.
Yeah.
Somebody should have had this conversation with her.
Yeah. But
sometimes your kid get kidnapped.
Yeah, for like the millionth time.
Get kidnapped in a zombie apocalypse.
Her kid got kidnapped. She had to hide him. She had to leave him with her dad to kill her. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of trauma, and they don't got therapists out there. So, yeah, in a way, I kind of agreed when she had that conversation. Even though Carol was like, no, like after Sophia. And I was like, well, Carol, you had Sophia long before the apocalypse happened. And she also mentioned Henry or whatever. And I'm like, once again, you didn't even have Henry. You took care of him. There's plenty of kids that need taking care of.
Yeah.
But actually bring one into the world. But anywho. All right, that was it for the likes. Now to the dislikes. Unless you want to add anything. Because that was like a stretch right there.
Hold up. The team stepping up for Negan and make your likes?
No, that's my dislikes. That's my dislike.
Oh, no, baby. That made my likes.
Okay.
I mean, it was kind of weird how it happened, but I appreciated Negan stepping out there and saying it was me and me alone. Cutting the deal, because although it was selfish reasons, it seemed like he wanted to die a martyr. That's why he did that little smile at the end. Like, why did he do that smile? Now, the smile he did made my dislikes. But him actually going out there and taking the blame for everything and saying, hey, kill me, let my people, whatever. Because he said there's going to be a bang. He's going to do something
a spark. Last week he said
yeah.
A spark. But this wasn't it. And that's why the whole
I think it would have been a spark if he would have died, if they would have killed him.
Okay, well, I'm glad that made your likes. I'm not going to get into it now because I want to go in the list in the order. But yeah, that didn't make my list of likes. Negan actually disappointed me the whole episode. Like, I kept thinking there was going to be like, okay, what am I not seeing? They're going to do the okie doke. Like, I'm not seeing the full picture. But no, there was nothing else.
What about the guy saying, hey, you just got a taste of it? That didn't make your likes?
I mean, yeah, that was a little funny. Yeah, Tyler, I think, said, yeah, you got a little taste of what's going to happen, what they'll do to you, but...
I thought it was disrespectful.
Where
it was a
Tyler
like.
come from? Is he one of the protesters? Or where did he... Like, they kept saying that's him, and I'm like, are we supposed to recognize this guy? Because now it showed him the whole episode, and I'm like, I never seen... What's that, Keke Palmer? I never seen this man day before in my life.
Well, I thought they brought him on to kill him. Because usually when they bring someone on,
and they keep showing him.
Yeah, give him speaking roles. Then
give him a name.
That means he's dead. Mm-hmm. If he's not one of our people, he's dead after that.
Yeah, that's all I thought. I was like, who? I'm like, is he the guy that interrupted that fancy dinner? The protester, the resistance? I don't know. Because I'm like, every time they showed him, I'm like, are we supposed to recognize him? Because I don't recognize him.
You might be right. That might be him.
Yeah.
Oh, good for him. They had to bring him back for this.
Yeah, if that is the same guy.
Yeah.
All right, first dislike. Negan starting shit while he had the map. Like, that's why I honestly thought there was a different... Like, I'm like, okay, I'm not seeing where this is going. That map was a fake out. It couldn't really have been the real map. But yes, it was the real map. And then not only that...
Yeah.
They said, we found the map several hours after your scuffle. So if it was several hours later... How did no one else on the team see it? But it was just, that whole scene was so dumb. It made zero sense why Negan started shit talking with the map in his pocket. It just didn't make no sense.
It makes sense to me that his emotions got the best of him. I wish he wouldn't have done that. but I'm not saying it didn't make any sense. He looked over at his wife. His emotions got the best of him, and he went with what he went with. I wish he wouldn't have done that because he put himself, his team, and he put his wife in danger.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the wife, Annie. So she disappointed me throughout the episode as well.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let's go. Let's talk
Negan's
about
wife,
it.
so in that scene, she comes up while he's getting in trouble and getting beat. She comes up, no, leave him alone. Why? Like, you guys already know the vibe here. Like, what do you think you going up saying no is going to do?
That's her husband, though.
So what? She is pregnant. Like, stop. They've been in the apocalypse too long to be having these emotional outbursts still.
But I think right now she would be a little more emotional. Her husband, the father of her child.
Okay. I'm going to let it slide because you said you put it that way. But it's just like, at the same time, I was like, what the heck? And then leads me to the next. It's like, what was the point of splitting them up earlier? Was that last episode when they took them off?
Now,
and they're all at the same
that
spot?
didn't make any sense.
I'm like, hold on. What was that whole big thing of splitting them up? And now they're all here, showing people that we didn't see at all. It showed Nubella. It showed several people. Princess was all sitting there. I'm like, okay, so y'all didn't want to pay for them last episode. Like, I'm sick of y'all being cheap, and then the stuff don't make sense in the end.
Right, that didn't make any sense.
Yeah. And then Negan telling his wife, Annie, he told his wife, I would never risk us. That's what he went and told her when she was laying in bed. And then he immediately, literally risks them. I will never risk us. And then starts talking shit, starting fights. Like, come on, Negan.
But you know what? The Walking Dead is good for that. They're good for doing things and not explaining it. They're good for just doing it and telling us just deal with it.
I thought it was like, I'm not seeing the bigger picture. I know Negan got something up his sleeve. So the whole time I'm waiting for whatever he had up his sleeve, but he didn't have anything up his sleeve. He did all that and then was about to get killed. Like, it just didn't make any sense. That was not a spark that I thought he was going to do.
The writers thought differently.
Yeah. Chantel, you got to let us know what happened there. All right, and speaking of Chantel.
Don't put this on Chantel.
I'm going to put it on Chantel.
She wasn't even in the writing room at that time.
Well, one thing she mentioned last week that sort of came up this week was Ezekiel. So Ezekiel not keeping that same energy for Negan all episode long. He just confronted Negan saying blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Like, he said something to him last week, and he said something to him this week. Like, I know you don't remember, but Henry, that was family. Or no, Benjamin, that was family, da-da-da.
Yeah, which we mentioned.
So it's like, keep that same energy up. I'm tired of the, I will never fuck with you. And then 2 minutes later, you're standing in front of him before they can get shot.
Well, I think this is a real man thing right here. Because we don't keep that energy that long. I mean, like, women, you would die with the energy. If somebody make you mad today, you're going to be mad at them 50 years from now.
I will. That energy will forever stay.
See, we got to think logical. We got to think like, okay, we're here together. We have to work together. I mean, yeah, he was mad and he's still mad. And he said he would never forget. But that doesn't mean that it's time for this man to die.
I see what you're saying. And yes, logically it does make sense and all that. But nah, like, after everything Negan's done to you, and then you were about to sacrifice yourself. Not only him sacrifice himself, scary ass Kelly getting up there too. Kelly, if you're that scared, why did you get up there?
Oh, she looked scared this whole episode
too. She looked so scared.
Yeah, how did she get this scared?
I don't know. It's so weird.
Yeah, we saw her with the little, what was the thing called?
Her little slingshot.
The little slingshot.
Not only that, she's gone after Connie before on her own and was badass. And then now she's like super scared.
Yeah, it's like once they took her slingshot.
This is not even their worst predicament they've been in. Like, they've had time to move. Just do your movements, be quiet, keep your head down. This ain't even the worst of it that they've been in.
But maybe the Commonwealth did that to them.
Softened them up a little.
Softened them up. Brought them back to reality. They didn't have to be so hard. And now it's like a little shift trying to get back into that mode, that fight mode.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Maybe. I don't know. But one thing I'm surprised, because like I said, men don't usually keep their energy, but they should at least have them fist fight first.
Oh, Ezekiel?
Yeah, Ezekiel and Negan had them run the fade right quick.
Yeah.
Like, after you fist fight, then, the
at
energy.
Least you got it out.
Yeah, you got it out a little bit. The energy kind of gone.
All right, Eugene's long, drawn-out speech. I mean, when he got up on that, he's like, Judge, please let me have a moment.
You know what? I love the speech.
You did?
In fact, yeah, I forgot. I should have brought that up as a like. The only thing I didn't like about the speech was the crybaby face. That's the only thing I didn't like about it. Like, just get up and give your speech. But it was a heartwarming speech.
It was a heartwarming speech where he tried to motivate and tell people like, yo, I used to be in a group and I would stand around and let shit go and let shit fly. But not once did he actually say he was not guilty of what he was being accused of. Like, this is your time. If you're going to get on the stand, or not even on the stand, just stand up and talk, give your speech. But at the same time, make it very clear that you were innocent of these charges.
I think everybody knew he was innocent.
No, you can't just hope.
I mean,
I hope
it's
implied that I'm innocent.
There was a whole crowd rooting for him. They're calling his name out. The judge knew he was innocent. Everybody there knew he was innocent. So there's no need for him to make that point. You seen it with your own eyes. You know I didn't kill this guy. Yeah. One thing that I'm glad he did, he brought back to my attention, which I'm not mad at him anymore. When he went to the Neganites, went to the Saviors.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I was mad at him for a long time. But then now thinking about it, I'm like, what would Gary do? Right. Like, he was over there. He had his own bedroom now.
Yeah.
You know, say
dinner's being made for him and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Life was good.
Yeah. NBA 2K. He had a video. Life was good.
Yeah. I mean, to be clear, I probably would be like the Eugene or Kelly. You know, I'm not brave. And even the next statement I have on my dislikes list is like, I'm talking hard shit, but I'm not hard like that. I ain't that bold. But I will say this next thing is going to sound wrong, especially given the circumstances. But it was how I felt at the time. I guess it's still how I feel.
Yeah, you're a little angry over there.
I wish they would have went through with killing Negan and his wife. Like, when they brought her up and they're like, we gonna kill them both. I was like, okay, now we getting somewhere.
Well, you knew they were gonna kill Negan.
Well, I know, because he has his own spinoff, and the wife is pregnant and it's pretty sick. But like, Game of Thrones would have did it, you know? Like, it wouldn't have been a psych
We knew Negan wasn't gonna die, but I at least thought they would kill his wife.
Yeah.
Like, when they brought her up,
that would have been pretty sick.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna pull him back and make him watch.
Yeah.
That would have been a spark.
And Negan up there begging, no. I was like, why don't somebody tell him if anybody moves, if anybody breathes? Like, it would have been so good if they would have repeated those sweet, sweet words that he said to them all those years ago.
Yeah.
You know? Like, shut the fuck up. Another outburst like that. And what did he tell him? Another outburst like that, you ain't gonna make it. So I guess, I mean, I love Negan, I do, but in that moment, seeing him cry and it's like, oh, doing all this, it didn't faze me, because I'm like, you saw, yeah, like, you saw, you know, everyone else beg for their lives. You saw them say no, not to hurt Glenn, not to hurt Abraham, and you had no problem doing that, you know? So part of me, I just kind of wanted him to experience that same level of pain. All right, so then once again, I already mentioned, but Ezekiel and Cruz stepping in front of Negan, it was the right message, the wrong people to do it. Like, if it was somebody besides...
If not us, who else is going to do it?
I don't know. If Tyler or somebody else, or maybe even some of the new group, or Princess, people that didn't know Negan, Kelly was up there, but I just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right with King Ezekiel going up there first.
I think it was perfect. I mean, it shows that we still have our morals, our values. I mean, we're still a family at the end of the day. Although we didn't know each other in Commonwealth. Right. We got there, started like brand new. But, I mean, this right here brought us back together.
All right. Next dislike is, what happened to the remaining stormtroopers? Did they all just decide to lay down their weapons? Like, all the rest of them just fell in line? Like, while Rosita's punching the guy out, or, you know, threatening him with the walker? What are the rest of those stormtroopers that had the guns doing?
That was a big dislike, but what was a bigger dislike is we saw the whole town was secured. They said we can't get in there. Security's everywhere. And you see Maggie go in there and shoot the guard. Loud bullet sound. No one ran in. No one came. Like, where did everybody go to?
Yeah. Rosita was able to pop up,
yeah,
too.
Rosita said she checked every house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how?
And that Rosita was like, I'll stay at least one night. But it was like the same night. Like, Rosita, I thought you said you would stay out as, you know, the sharpshooter. And then here you are 10 minutes later. You came in anyways. When you and Gabriel was supposed to be sharpshooters. And Gabriel was there with her, looking at her in disgust while she taunted that man, you know, taunted him, the new villain, with the walker, Gabriel looked at her like with shame, and I'm like, I know y'all every other week y'all be killing people at your own whims, and then decide when it's right and when it's wrong. Like, get out of here. Yeah,
you're right.
All right, so why was that stormtrooper with Herschel alone, and why were they yelling at each other back and forth? And Herschel saying, no. Like, we're only like, it didn't look like no sick shit was happening, but, like, what happened? Yeah. What were you doing in the room alone with this boy while he's tied up? And he's yelling, no, like, why is he there by himself with you?
It was just an odd scene, because why are you just watching this guy?
Right, just
like
one
that,
little kid.
Yeah, that's your prisoner.
Right.
And then, yeah, he's yelling, help, no, help. And the guy just sitting there talking to him, shut up. But he's nowhere near him.
Yeah, and then not only that, why even, if you have him tied up, why even be in the room with him? Like, what was the whole point of it? It just was weird, a weird scene.
And it's just weird. He all of a sudden started screaming, help me. Help. Yeah. I don't know. It didn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense. And I would have liked them to ask more information, because they're like, is Coco here with you? No. Like, okay, well, can you, like, I would have liked to say, like, exactly tell us what happened. Like, what do you remember? You're old enough to actually talk and tell us, like, hey, they brought us here. They brought me to this room. They brought the other kid somewhere else, but I don't know where. But
when's the last time you seen her?
Yeah, when's the last time you seen her? They asked one question. Where's Coco? I don't know. I'm like, okay, that's it? That's all y'all gonna ask him? But, okay. I already mentioned this, but the walker picking up the knife.
Man, I was like, Jesus, take the wheel. like, why?
Why?
Why did they decide to go with that one?
That was too far. We saw walkers. Yeah, they can climb over stuff or whatever. But so now if they can pick up a knife, that tells me they can pick up a gun and start shooting. Like, it's too late for all that, y'all. I mean, I know we're talking about walkers here. We're talking about zombies here. And it's one thing if you would have did it in season 1, season 2, but season 11 is way too late to all of a sudden introduce us to pretty much the I'm Legend walkers. These are what the I'm Legend walkers were doing. Yeah, I could see them picking up a gun. Right. But no, in this case, it was too much.
It was too much, because why did he fall, or did he fall on purpose? And why did he army crawl?
Yeah, it almost looked like a setup, because we were talking, like, wait, was that the setup? Was like a couple of them teamed up, and one's like push the knife out of her hand, and then the other one's like, and I'll get it once it falls. And then Lydia, your knife falling out your hand, how?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like how was she holding her knife where it was that easy for it to fall out of her hand?
Yeah.
If she was ready to fight at any moment.
Right. And she should have been ready to fight at any moment, given that she was in the middle of walkers. So you would be, like, on high guard, high alarm, like, you know, and have your knife ready for attack if you need to. All right, so the warden refusing to tell Rosita where Coco was. Just why?
I didn't have a problem with that. I had a problem with him doing that and then screaming, no. Like, why are you going to cry now?
If you're going to be hardcore, be hardcore to the end.
Stay hardcore.
Mm-hmm. And then last dislike is Mercer coming at the very end. Talking about, let's go fuck some shit up. Like, how would I even be able to trust you? You were with her. You were on Pamela's side to, like, the very end. I can't trust you, dude.
You know what? There was a dislike before that. Mm-hmm. And that was Daryl coming from behind the screen. Like, were you going to wait till they shot everybody? Come out?
Which scene are you talking about?
When Daryl came out and stabbed the new villain in the back.
It's like, where were you? Yeah, where were you?
Were you gonna wait for everybody to get shot?
Yeah.
Then come out with
and then the warden being able to go and grab. It was like so cliche old 80s movie where the villain grabs somebody hostage, like, and he grabs Kelly out of all people, and she's like, oh no, she looks so scared. I'm like, man, if y'all stop doing all this, like, come on. And then and then how did he not die instantly from that?
Yeah, he stabbed him in the neck, right?
Yeah.
At least I thought he did.
Yeah.
But he could have stabbed him somewhere else. But overall, I guess this was really bad.
It was bad. We watched it twice, and it was even worse the second time.
I watched it like 1.5 times.
Yeah.
I think the first night I fell asleep on it.
The first night, it was just like, this is what I'm using my Sunday night for? Like, prime time Sunday night? Nah. But all right. But, you know, I ain't here to completely bash Walking Dead, but yeah, it wasn't it.
I mean, that's exactly what you did.
Well, I did. I bashed the episode. So, all All right, but if you guys want to be part of the podcast, hit us up, dead@theverdictsend.com. I believe there's probably only like 2 episodes left at this point, so it's almost over. And then remember, after we finish The Walking Dead, we will start on House of Dragon.
We didn't mention, what's the guy named? Luke?
Oh, yeah, Luke come back. Yeah,
Luke
he was
and
nice.
wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't mention that.
Yeah, he was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was cool to see him. Because remember, I liked Luke. He was cool. He used to have his blazer on and everything like that. He went there for Jules and...
Yeah, I thought it was... Now, I thought that part was a little odd.
That he was there?
That he was there.
I didn't like it that he was creeping and Lydia was like, that's human. Come out. And they're like, come out. And then he comes out. I don't know. That scene was weird. And they didn't even ask a lot of questions. He was like, this is what happened. We got to get as far away from Oceanside as possible. And they're like, okay, come on. But like, have more real conversations. Like, whoa, tell us exactly who did you see? How many of them were there? Da da da.
Yeah, and I wonder, how did he not get caught up in the crowd that was there? And I'm sure he tried to explain it, but it really didn't make any sense. Like, were they behind? He said they were behind the house when they came.
Yeah.
But
then Rachel was able to still tell them to run.
And the stormtroopers are looking for them.
Yeah.
I guess that's the part I didn't get.
It sounded like they were on a run, and then when they came home, they saw that it had been overtaken, and the stormtroopers saw them, but they had enough space in between where Oceanside was and be able to escape.
Okay, all right.
And I'm sort of disappointed because when we first were introduced to Oceanside, like and this was years ago, their shit was laid out. Like they had systems in place.
Yeah, their security was like A1.
Right. So
like they got you before you got to the village.
Right. So I want to know, how did they sneak up on them?
I want to know why
they probably just let them in.
Or why they let their guard down that much.
Yeah, or they probably let them in because remember, Aaron already introduced them.
Oh, that's a possibility.
Yeah. And it wasn't until they were already inside that they realized these are bad. No, they don't. They're bad. All right. So we have an email from Tiffany. It is from, I believe, an episode or 2 ago. So
it's from last episode.
Okay, last episode. Okay. She said, "Am I finally writing in? I'm finally writing in."
And we're glad you are, Tiffany. Thank you.
Yeah, she's like, I'll admit, I've kind of been obsessed with a few other shows, but they currently ended, and my love for Walking Dead and Verdicts In never dies. Never. Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we understand. There's so many good TV shows out there right now, so I know I need to catch up on a lot of them as well. All right, so she says, so first off, let me start and say at the top and say, love this episode. I'm going to say, like most episodes on the back half, not... Mm-hmm.
And let's make sure everybody know again that this is last week's episode she's talking about.
Last week's, yes. Not this week's. Not this week.
All right.
She's talking about Outpost 22. She's like, I'm not quite sure what I watch or what's happening. She's like, seriously, what is really going on this season, y'all? I've been so confused, but also so utterly entertained that I kind of haven't cared if it's confusing. This email will be dedicated to the confusing but fun times in this episode. Okay, so she said fun part 1. So I think I'll episode this episode, but I feel some type of Game of Thrones type Westeros map that explains where the train is and where exactly this train runs past and why come no one has heard it blow its whistle before. Daryl and Carol are riding past the train like we need to get in front of it. But then I'm like, how fast is this damn train going when they can get in front of a train by like 40 minutes? Yeah, because they were ahead of the train for a long time.
Yeah.
Still fun because anytime these two are together, someone is probably getting grievously injured or community is failing. Or the community is falling, excuse me. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think Chantel also talked about like the whole train situation. A lot of people were confused. Like, hold on, there's been a working train this close, even though it's somewhat farther from Alexandria, but it's close enough that how we've never seen it. And we've gone out exploring.
Why do we never hear it?
Mm-hmm. Unless it just was inoperable.
And like we mentioned last week's episode, week we mentioned that there was a train that was a distance from us.
Right.
It was a good distance.
And we
hear it all the time.
All the time. All right. She goes, this Maggie, Father G, Rosita escape. First off, this guard just knocked the hell out in deep REM sleep while 3 people break out. Okay, no problem. Because moving cars and the sun make me fall asleep too, so I can't pass judgment. But when Maggie doesn't get out and causes an accident, how many miles away from Rosita and Father G did she crash? Like, golly, we talked about that. So no one heard this truck crash into a damn tree? Why didn't Father G and Rosita hear this? Or because apparently they jumped out of the truck and also went into a deep sleep? Wait a minute. Is this the leftover effects from the drugs? Okay, never mind. Answer my own question. So I guess, okay, so she's saying maybe that's why they... Remember, we were questioning why they were asleep in the middle of the woods after they fell out of the truck or rolled out of the truck.
Right, how they get so far away from the road.
Yeah, and then
and just fell asleep.
again. Yeah. So maybe she's saying that the drugs, they start getting woozy again. Maybe they fell out, and while they fell out, they were like, oh, the drugs are making me woozy. Fell back asleep from the drugs. It makes zero sense.
Yeah.
So I can understand why she's saying all the confusing parts.
I guess we go with that.
Yeah. All right, she goes number 3. Train heist, except it was the slowest train heist ever. LOL. Daryl didn't even bother to try and hide anywhere, just ready to take bullets to the face. Half-ass ducking like this is the Matrix. Maggie just walking on the train, taking the softest train engineer that's ever lived. The guy half-ass moving the debris from the switch so slowly, is waiting to see Daryl do a Papa Willie off the damn train with the motorcycle. But no, next thing you know, he's just ghost riding this guy down into a slide-out move, which I loved, but still kept thinking I was missing pieces, you know? Yeah.
Oh man, she's trying to mess up last week's episode.
Yeah, I know. You're tearing last week's episode apart at this point. So, all right, she goes, and then there's just some funny moments and comments. Moment number 1. Carol and Maggie having a heart-to-heart, and Rosita says, where's Daryl? Maggie very casually goes, he's inside. And then they go inside, and Daryl's torturing someone. No one is phased. Like, oh, just a little like Guantanamo Bay action, mild and very basic war crimes happening in the barn behind us, while we have a heart-to-heart over here. Just a normal day.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
Yeah,
no one questioned it.
No one questioned it. Even we didn't question it.
Yeah, we didn't question it.
Because it was like he was in the barn, and then you show him in the barn, and I'm like, oh, okay, of course. He's torturing the guy. He's getting information. Like, I just got used to it, yeah. Moment number 2. Father G is like, oh, I know this guy. He sneaks into the church. Dude is like, what's wrong with me? And Father G straight up, oh, because you're just a coward. You're not, you're not trying to be. Like, sir, give me a little more context to this freshly tortured, dying man. Like, I was a coward once too before, where I left my whole flock to die horribly. So I speak from experience. Right.
Yeah.
I, mean, I mentioned that. Yeah. Yeah, you are tearing this episode apart. Yeah, they could have gave us more. Tiffany.
But overall, I think it still was the best episode of the season.
I'll have to go through the whole season. The season 11's been on for like 2 years.
Well, I mean this part.
Oh, this third part, yeah. Okay, moment number 3. Speaking of Father G and Rosita, whenever he says, "What do you tell me when I beat myself up?" Rosita, quit bitching and move forward. Like, is this encouragement? I did the confused giggle. Like, wait a minute, that would have hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I mentioned it while we watched it.
You know what? You're right. Yeah, because when they said it, I was like, is that supposed to be... I did think it internally, but I guess it wasn't enough for me to even, like, discuss it. But I did think internally, like, is that supposed to be encouragement? But, yeah, you're right. That is... Like, who says that in real life? If you told me that I was having a sad moment, I'm assuming you're sad, and you're like, quit bitching and move forward. Like, what kind of foul shit is that?
And see, that's all I mean before they said men can't be depressed. Women just won't allow it.
Yeah, because it kind of was like, man, get out your feelings, move the fuck on. Like, okay, like that was bad advice. Yeah.
Or they say that's how Hispanic and black households are.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
like
I
the
saw
parents,
that,
when the parents be
like,
like,
where the
like,
kid says, I'm depressed, and they say you better depress them.
Yeah.
Not all households. Not all households. But
that's our encouragement talks.
Yeah. That was some, toxic encouragement there.
You better get in depress this right to press that ass.
Oh, well, one thing my mom did used to say is poke that lip back in before I give you something, like poke that lip, or stop crying before I give you something to cry about, or poke that lip in before, and it's like, how are you telling a kid how to feel? Like, if my lip is poked out, that's my prerogative. Let me feel how I feel. But anywho. All right. Moment number 4. When Negan says, shelve that shit, I just LOL. I can't breathe. I was laughing so hard. Like, no offense to Ezekiel, but man, the last one's still mad at Negan, apparently. Even Maggie is like, all right, I will only attempt to kill Negan once a month. And both sides felt like it was an acceptable compromise. All I can picture is that Stephen A. Smith gif where he's like, we don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, and then she ends it with, it's super fitting that the road brings everyone back together. right? Because that's basically where they became a family, was on the damn road, scratching and surviving. Good times. I love the ending being they accidentally kept all the people willing to fight together and brought them back to Alexandria. It was kind of like coming to Alexandria for the first time again because the Commonwealth done redecorated. But this should be hilarious and action-packed because even these kids know Alexandria like the back of their hand.
Yeah, the Commonwealth hooked it up. Put a new door on it, everything.
Right. And she had her most likely died Negan, but we know it's not Negan because he has a spinoff.
Yeah, yep.
One thing you mentioned, which I kind of even forgot that they were back at Alexandria, is because when last week's episode ended, and thank you for writing in, Tiffany.
Yeah, thank you.
With us showing that they were back in Alexandria, we were all excited, like, oh my gosh, they don't even know what they're doing. These idiots, they know Alexandria back in like by like the back of their hand, right? And unless we're gonna see more, this episode, it didn't show us anything too impressive.
They could have done so much more with that.
They could have done so much more. Like, even barely when they snuck in the house, when Carol and Maggie snuck in, like, they barely made it past a guard. A guard came out, and then right after they came out, they went in. And actually, they did end up getting caught. Remember, they had to, like, kill a guard inside the house. But
yeah,
I would have loved to see more. The fact that they ended on, boom, we're in Alexandria.
Yeah, I would have loved to see them in Alexandria this week instead of out there still in the field working.
Yeah.
Like, if they was in Alexandria and we were in there making a plan of, oh, they just don't know. This is our home.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. You know, it would have been an exciting episode.
Yeah, I agree.
But we were only in Alexandria for like maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah, because when they were out in the field, wherever they were at, that wasn't Alexandria, whatever they were doing.
No, it wasn't.
But thank you, Tiffany. We appreciate it. Good
Yeah, thank you,
feedback there. All right, we have an email from Chantel.
Hey, Chantel.
All right, she goes, my God, what a time I had trying to watch this week's episode. First, I was watching on the iPad, but it kept glitching. Then I moved to my phone. Then I finally got up and went to the TV in the basement, and finally it worked. I literally restarted the episode like 6 times. I'm glad I'm stuck with it because I really enjoyed it. It didn't match last week's pacing, but I liked where the story took us.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, she's saying it, you know, not she's putting it nicely. I can't help but wonder how much more I would have gotten out of it had I been been able to watch straight through and only stop for notes. Anyway, here are my thoughts. And she says she doesn't like Xfinity. They suck. Yeah. Is Xfinity? No, we don't have Xfinity. We have AT&T.
AT&T.
Yeah. But trust me, it was probably better. You probably enjoyed it better by being able to stop and pause because to watch it straight through was hard. Like the whole time, both times, I was like, oh my gosh. All right. She goes, the opening. I read somewhere that last week's narration wasn't done by Judith, that the closed captioning said boy instead of Judith. Why? Why would they do that? Who is the boy? Surely not RJ, since everyone seems to forget he even exists, even though he's the only biological Grimes left on the show. Don't even get me started. She said, who is it? Herschel? Why though? Is this not Judith's story? Why switch it in such a subtle fashion if it's supposed to mean something? Anyway, I enjoyed this week's cold open, and I'm pretty positive it was actually Judith speaking again. It was interesting this time because at the end of the open, she says, my dad wanted mercy to prevail over wrath. She goes on to, the comment.
Yeah, that's a good point, bringing up if it was Herschel. Because Herschel, like, we really have no ties to him. It's almost like, as soon as we were introduced to him, they were gone.
Yeah, so, Herschel and RJ. We don't really know either of those kids.
Yeah, it's crazy we don't know RJ because he's been here the whole time. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's those child labor laws.
yeah. They can only work
a
little bit, yeah.
Right. Probably cutting the scenes out.
But how is Judith? It's not like there's child, like she's still a young kid and we see
No, I was joking.
Okay.
But yeah, we have no ties to Herschel, so it wouldn't even make sense for last week's episode to be beginning to be narrated by him.
Well, the problem with Walking Dead is I feel like they rather have, like, instead of stuff making sense, they rather have a gotcha moment, like how we thought this was Carl's story, and turns out, no, it wasn't Carl's story. So for us now, like, okay, this is Judith's story, and then they'll be like, it's neither of their stories. Well, this is Jerry's kid's story.
We thought it was like Rick's story at first.
Yeah.
Rick's story, then Carl's story.
Yeah.
Julia.
Watch it turn out as Coco's story. Like at the end, they're like, "Yo, y'all didn't know who was telling this story, but turns out it was actually Coco all this time." I'm like, what? just to be able to say like a gotcha, like they don't care if it makes sense or not. In my opinion, that's what it feels like. But all right, she goes all in it together. I appreciate that they showed us everyone else at the tracks, even if they didn't show them get taken. Nabila, Magna, Princess. It was good to know where they are, and even better to know that they were together.
Which didn't make any sense.
It did not make any sense.
But it was good to see them.
Yes, it was. Y'all know how I feel about the power of everyone being together. I also liked how they used Kelly's sign language and clandestine communication to clock the troop movements. Together, we get shit done. I will say with Nabila, did Nabila actually go up and stand with the king as well?
Yeah.
Okay, see, and that's just irresponsible. She got like 3, 4, 5 kids. I don't know how many kids she got.
They have a lot of kids.
They have a lot of kids.
I thought about that too. I was like, man, she have too many kids to be standing up here.
Yeah, like this is not your fight. This is not your fight at all. But
it was a feel good moment.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned before, I think Jerry's going to get the other kingdom.
Yeah.
Get the spot. So it only makes sense that he kind of built her character up right now in these last couple of episodes. Mm-hmm. If she's going to be in any of these spinoffs.
Yeah, hopefully she is. I don't know who Jerry's spinoff he'll be in. Like, I'm assuming he's going to be in one of the spinoffs.
Yeah.
All right, hard labor. She says, so Tyler Davis, the distraught kid from the gala that took Max hostage, is alive and working at the train tracks labor camp. If he's there, then maybe others from that list that was slipped to Connie are too. That means that revolution-minded people are with our people on the tracks and at Commonwealth. Let's go.
Oh, he was broken.
Okay, so she confirmed that is the same guy.
And he was broken.
Yeah, he was broken. He didn't want to fight.
Yeah, he didn't want to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we told Nigga. He said, yeah, so you got a taste of it.
Right.
I was like, how insensitive.
Yeah.
Nigga just got beat up.
Unless now that it's showing him a lot, maybe he'll be in the spinoffs too. Because they gave him a lot of screen time this week.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be the big death.
Yeah. Either he'll have a big death or he'll be in the spinoff.
They're going to be like, we couldn't give you the big names, but we gave you the guy who talked last week.
Right. All right. She goes to the train. Last week, we questioned the train and its vicinity to Alexandria. Why didn't our people ever know it existed, given that they blow that damn horn all willy-nilly? Well, I thought about it a bit more last night, and this is what I came up with. The tracks have always been right outside of Alexandria. But that fact wasn't anything our group, or as us viewers, need to know, because there were no trains running.
Was that the train track that the old girl died on, got shot with in the face with an arrow?
Good callback.
Shot in the eye?
Shot in the eye.
Yeah, they were on train tracks, right?
Yeah. Was that Denise?
Was it?
Yeah, the guy with the burned face, Daryl's little sidekick that, I forgot his name now, but I think his name started with a D too.
Yeah. Dwayne.
No,
Was it
Dwayne don't sound right.
Dwight.
Dwight, yeah, Dwight. I think he killed her. Because he said he was aiming for Daryl. That's what he told him. I don't know, because we have seen train tracks. We saw when Rick escaped that house, him, Michonne, and Carl, they were walking on train tracks, I believe. Like back in season...
Yeah, I mean... It's no doubt that we've seen train tracks, but an actual train on the train tracks.
Right. All these years.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me see what she continues with. Our people are prisoners. Our people who are prisoners are clearing the tracks so they can be used. They haven't always been in use. So if we look at it like that, the train's existence makes sense. It is running as tracks are cleared. They have been cleared to a point close to Alexandria. So our people are being housed there for now. My guess is if we don't wreck shop, a group will be taken to the next outpost, clearing more track along the way. Probably to Oceanside since Hornsby mentioned going to the coast. Or maybe New York, which opens the doors for Negan and Maggie and could lead to what I think is going on with Rick.
That's a good theory.
Yeah. And it brings back, when her bringing up Hornsby, it brings back what Hornsby's saying about like, hey, if I die, there's contingencies in place. And so far, we haven't actually seen anything that's changed or something that's impacted from his death. So it could be something bigger, like she mentioned before, with the people from the other spinoff.
I mean, we haven't seen a rebellion. I mean, we've seen Tyler this episode, but he didn't speak about it.
Yeah.
It's like it's over.
At least you should tell them, like, okay, well, at least these are the people that's in the rebellion. Or at least talk to the old rebellion people.
Or tell us what was the rebellion.
Yeah.
Like, who was over it? What was it about?
Right. How many people are strong in this rebellion and everything like that. So, or she goes, Oceanside. Luke is alive. AKA Luke is finished filming Fantastic Beasts. LOL.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I know that had to be a big paycheck for him, but those movies just weren't it. But I have to admit, I was happy to see him. I honestly didn't think we ever would again. Did you guys catch the moment Lydia realized the walkers were from Oceanside? Oh, no. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
She noticed the woven fisherman sweater they always wore on one of them. Hornsby definitely flipped a coin and killed everyone, or killed a lot of people and enslaved the rest.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I did not catch that. Good callback, yeah. Kangaroo Court. Eugene's trial was absolutely bullshit. We knew it would be, but as someone who hates injustice, my blood was boiling. Same. Pamela is very smart, or conniving. The way she flipped the script on Yumiko and basically called the recording a deep fake, even Yumi had to give her a look of, well played, asshole, well played.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, that's why I made the likes list. I was like, oh, because I kept thinking, how is she going to get out of this? Like, how is she going to explain what her son... But by calling it a deep fake, I mean, remember R. Kelly called his video a deep fake. So anything, all you have to do is say it wasn't me. Like, that I know we got you on tape. You just think that was like the answer to all answers, like the gotcha moment. Now you just be like, that's not me.
I mean, you could really say that now.
Yeah, I've seen deep fakes on TikTok where the guy looks like Tom Cruise, and it's not Tom
Right, they
Cruise.
had a little face overs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can put somebody's face on anybody right now.
Nothing. You're not going to be able to believe anything.
In fact, and this is way off topic, but in another country, a politician, her face was put on a porn star's face. It's a true story. Mm-hmm. Y'all look it up. Her face was put on a porn star, and they ran that before her election or the campaign or through the campaign. And, you know, she said, I mean, I think she had to drop out the campaign. She was talking about how embarrassing it was. Her parents had to see it. It was hard for her to explain that that's not her. She never did that. So they eventually found out that it was a fake. They put her face
after the election. They found out probably. That is so wrong. That is so like I don't know. That's so wrong.
So yeah, like I said, it's off topic, but that's why they said they're going to have to. There's going to have to be more steps in how we use that. Who can use it? Yeah.
The technology and stuff
like that,
yeah.
You know, because that technology, something like that could happen, that can happen to anybody. That should be banned.
Right. Which, the only thing, though, I didn't agree with Pamela is because, okay, the world ended in, 2010. Was that technology out back then? And let alone, even if it was out back then, you guys are running on scraps. You guys don't have Wi-Fi or any of that stuff, so... How did someone make a deep fake? Like, if she was able to make a deep fake or Eugene was able to make a deep fake, we need someone like that on our team because he knows technology really well. Like, he shouldn't be killed.
Well, I think everyone knew she was lying.
Yeah.
I mean, this case, it wasn't a win case anyway. It
was a lose-lose. You were going to lose no matter what.
They just had it just to say they had the trial. But you saw the judge wasn't even on their side. The judge wasn't judging.
Yeah. The judge wasn't judging. Nope. All right, she goes, Eugene's speech was really good and seemed to speak to everyone in the room. Mercer looked like he was working hard to control his emotions. Even the judge looked moved. Kind of. She's like, I was proud of him for owning his shit and speaking to the lessons he learned the hard way. It was a message that worked for each person in the room, and it was why I was certain that I was right and that he was going to die.
Yeah.
So far, not yet. She goes, Mercer. Mercer got the fuck this episode. I'm so happy about this. I hope he would come around and be the hero many in the Commonwealth thought he was. I had a feeling he would, but The Walking Dead has been known to throw us for a loop in the past. I'm so happy he came around, but I hope they find a way to make it very clear that Eugene's speech is not the reason why. I want the brother to come to the conclusion that this is time to act on his own terms, not because Eugene has guilted him into it. Mercer is too strong and too fine of a character to need to be cajoled into being brave and doing the right thing.
Yeah, I think this was always his plan. I mean, he didn't just wake up or get the Eugene speech and say, hey, you know what, maybe we need to act. Because the guys, he already has guards in place. So I think this was his plan all along. Like, hey, this is what we're going to do after the trial because it's going to be a losing trial.
don't know if it was a plan all along, but yeah, maybe once the trial started, it was. Because also, one thing I didn't like is earlier in the episode, Max is sitting there telling Yumiko and Eugene, she's like, well, you know, if he was going to do something, he would have did it when they took Princess. And Yumiko's like, he knows they took Princess? And Max is like, yeah. And then later on, Yumiko goes and talks to Mercer, and she goes, you know they took Princess. And he's like, I know. And she goes, you know? And I'm like, what the fuck? You just talked to Max. She already told you. What are we doing here?
She had to hear for herself. I thought Max was lying.
Yeah, I'm like, you already knew that, but okay. Okay, let me finish what she said about Mercer. She says, Nicole, you mentioned Sister Girl Stormtrooper last week, and I agreed with everything you said. My question is, what side is she on? Because she looked at Mercer really crazy when he said he needed the room, and then he put his call out to his other troopers. Is she going to be a snitch or a fellow rebel? They made it a point to focus on her again, so she has to serve some purpose. Okay, see, I didn't even notice her this episode.
I mean, I don't think she's going to be either or. I think she just might want to be, might be one of those people that's out for themselves. Like, hey, I don't have any ties to anyone. I'm living a good life here. I don't want anything to change. Yeah. Because, I mean, some people, they like that structure. They don't, especially when they're living good within that structure.
Right. And I get it. It's so much easier to look the other way versus cause trouble. And it's like, well, now I causing trouble. My kids are good. My family's good. But now if I cause trouble, all that's going to go away. So
right.
I get it. All right. She has box execution. That scene was so stressful. I knew Negan was safe, but I assumed Annie and probably Ezekiel were done for.
Yep.
When everyone else stepped forward, I was so relieved. And when the camera went to Nabila standing there in defiance, I was definitely emotional. The way they stood, basically shielding Negan, who we know has plot armor, I was fully prepared for the troopers to open fire. We are due for a bloodbath, and I was sure this was it. My hands were shaking.
That must be your part. That must have been the part you wrote.
Yeah. Did you write that part, Chanel? Because I was not shaking at all. I already knew. Once they stood up, I was like, okay. Even when he was like, kill them all, I was like, yes, do it. Like, I mean, I didn't want them to die, but I was like, do it. Like, show us you're that badass. Like, do it. But I already knew, like, what's going to happen. They're going to get saved. The day's going to get saved, blah, 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 you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes I wish
and the day... one of our favorites did it.
Yeah, Daryl. I mean, I wish sometimes the day doesn't get saved right at the nick of time. Like, it's okay to... Like, they could have came in, like, as soon as Ezekiel start walking up there, they could have came in. Like, it doesn't always have to get saved right at that moment. You know, like, the ready, aim, and then right before they say fire.
We had to see the people come together.
Yeah.
We had to see it for ourselves. You know, our team was looking real weak for a little minute.
Unless, now it's kind of liking it, because now we're talking about it, unless that was the spark, quote unquote, that Negan wanted. Negan knew, I'm going to sacrifice myself, and then all these people are going to come up. And that's going to drive everybody else.
I don't think he planned that out, but I do think him sacrificing himself was the spark.
Okay.
But I doubt he thought anyone would come up for him.
Yeah, because him dying, to me, that wouldn't have been a spark. Like a lot of them know Negan's past. So him getting killed.
Well, our people know his past.
Yeah.
But he still have other people there. He still have his wife and the mother of his child there. And, I mean, I guess he wanted to... And that would be a spark because it was all of their plans. So, although he was the reason that they were caught or the map got out,
yeah,
you know, he was like, okay, this was all our plans. I'm not telling anybody. I'm going to take the fall for this. And that's the spark right there. I got to gain their trust back.
Yeah, it was funny. I think about it when Negan, first started arguing with the guards right after the map situation. And Ezekiel was like, hey, Negan, I need that map. Hey, Negan, I need that map. But you would think after the tussle, you would, like, go check. Like, oh, let me make sure that map didn't fall. Because, the warden said, we found it hours after your scuffle.
Right. Yeah, and I don't see or understand how he expected to get the truth out of him by saying that. I can see if he say, hey, after your scuffle, we found this map. Mm-hmm. But he made sure he say hours. Like, what?
Right, hours. So, like, that could have happened. That could have been anybody that had that map.
I mean, you just gave me a way out.
Right.
I was about to snitch on myself. Like, wait a minute, hours? It wasn't me.
All right. She has 4 random thoughts. 1, her show's okay, but where's everyone else? Why is he being held separately from the other kids?
Make no sense.
I would think, given the way things have gone, Pamela would have separated Judith and maybe RJ if she was aware of who his guardian is. Judith and RJ are the children. Do we de facto of the leader? Yeah. So what's so special about Herschel? Yeah, because she doesn't even know Maggie really, right?
No.
Like, I know
No, she
Hornsby does, but maybe, I don't know. It was weird that they put all this on Herschel. Like, he was like the kid to watch out for or whatever.
Maybe he did something. You know, maybe he tried to fight back. And they said, no, we got to tie this kid up. Because if he was screaming right then when he found him, he could have been screaming this whole time.
That's true.
And that's why the guard was like, kid, shut up. Shut up, kid.
2. Did you see Rosita's face when she found out Coco wasn't there? Child. Yeah, Rosita did get, like, when I felt
She did.
her pain when she was like, Coco, like, I felt Maggie, even talking shit about Maggie earlier, I felt Maggie's pain when she, like, couldn't breathe. When she was, like, hyperventilating, she was saying, was it selfish of me? I'm getting chills now thinking about it. Those moments, like, as a mother, I felt how scared they were. I thought they both did a really good job of showing that, like, or you know, presenting it on screen that they were scared for their children, and I felt it. So I thought they both did a good job. 3. Our group is strolling along with those walkers. They will be fucked if the troopers decide to open fire on the herd.
That'd be fucked if Ninja Walker decided to start cutting people up.
Right. Ninja come up and, like, stab you in the back like you're in prison or something, like, shank you. But actually, I thought they were, I don't know what I thought. At first, I thought they were suspecting people were in that herd. Because when they were shining the light, I'm like, wait, do they know they're there? But you're right. If they would have opened fire, you know.
But, I mean, we've seen it happen before.
Mm-hmm.
But who was it? Who wasn't in the herd when they opened fire the last time?
I don't know.
I think it was Negan. It was Negan and...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was with the Whispers.
Right.
Yeah. And then she goes 4. Someone dropped the knife, and now Variant Walker has it. Someone in that group is gonna die. Otherwise, why show it?
Unless Variant Walker gonna go stab some of the stormtroopers.
Yeah. No, I think she's right. Someone's gonna die, and I think they like Lydia too much for it to happen. So I think it's gonna be Elijah, especially since he already warned Lydia about it. So I feel like it's gonna end up happening to him.
Yeah, that'd be something.
She says thanks for covering her favorite show.
Thank you for writing
some other
in.
Sweet stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chantel. Only 2 more episodes to go. Thanks, Chantel.
You know what would have been dope? I mean, yeah, seeing Luke come out the woods, that was cool. But if we would saw Struggle Braids come out.
Yeah, are we ever going to see Struggle Braids?
Now, that would have been dope. He come out the woods and say, hey, I've been looking for y'all all this time. Where did you go?
Right. I mean, I think it would be a pleasant surprise. Maybe he's with Rick or something like that. Because is he doing anything? I know he had that 24 show, but that was years ago.
No, he had a couple of dope shows since then.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's still working.
Yeah. And then I do see another email has come in from Raw, but it's for episode number 23. So we won't be reading it this week because we haven't not yet watched the new episode yet. Those are for those AMC Plus members. And we're not AMC Plus members. So we will be watching next Sunday.
All right. Well, thanks for writing in, Raw.
And actually next Sunday we will be out of town. So the 13th. So we know we won't be able to watch on The Walking Dead on the 13th. We will be watching for the first time Monday. So the episode may be a little late. So we'll be watching Monday. So we won't even read emails before then, just so we won't get spoiled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But thanks, Chantel and Tiffany, for this week's letters. We really appreciate it. And I cannot wait to read Raw's email for next week's episode, episode 23.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear his thoughts.
Same here. All right, Gary, let's close it out with I Ain't Fearing Shit and Most Likely to Die. Who do you got this week for I Ain't Fearing Shit?
Negan's wife.
Oh, Annie. Okay.
Annie. Yeah. I mean, she's pregnant and she's still trying to fight.
Yeah. Is that not fearing shit or stupid? Because.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be both.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I ain't fearing shit in a zombie apocalypse. It's kind of stupid. You think about it. It could be. But yeah, I'll give it to her. What do you have? Or Negan.
I thought his actions were stupid as well. Honestly, I'm gonna have to give it to the stormtrooper that decided to like turn.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
Because remember the reason why he was pissed off earlier. Negan knew that he was pissed off because he said, "Hey, my brother's dying. Like, my brother's sick. I want to be home." And villain guy, the warden, he was like, "No, because you know what? You went across me and like asked the appropriate channels or whatever, and you should have came to me and asked me. So you're gonna stay here for 6 more months. Like, zero care." So I actually like that he, in the end, was like, he couldn't sit there and shoot those people down. And watching him, I don't know if they were trying to do this, but it made me think of like in 2020, I believe it was, when all like the protests were going on, and it showed this black police officer. I don't know if you remember that video. It was viral. And it was like a black police officer that was standing in protest, and he looked like he was shaking, like he was conflicted, like in being there. Do you remember that video?
Mm-mm.
It was so viral because everyone's like, look at him, like you can tell he was conflicted.
He's right scared.
no, it looked conflicted, but whatever it was, like his expression and this stormtrooper's expression was that same look of like, I need to do my job, but this is totally against what I believe and what I expected to do in this job.
Okay.
So like when I saw his face, I was like, whoa, I don't know if they did from that scene, from that, protest, or it just, I don't know. It was, to me, it really hit because I remembered that video. So I'm going to give it to the stormtrooper. Don't get me caught his name, but yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. All right. Most likely to die.
I mean, they're going to have to kill Carol. They have to give me that one. I said Carol 3 episodes in a row. Mm-hmm. We know she's not going to be on any of the seasons moving forward. I don't think so. Well, we know she's not. She already backed out, but we don't know if they start shooting already.
Right.
But if they haven't, they got to give me this one. They got to give us somebody big.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Carol.
I'm gonna go with Aaron still. Like, it hurts. It hurts so bad to think about it, and that's why I feel like it may happen, because Aaron's such a good guy. I'm going to say Aaron. We know Jerry will be fine and Billa will be fine. Yeah,
they're going to be fine.
Yeah. The only other person is like a maybe a Connie or Kelly, but that's not big enough, because they've only been with this for a little bit.
It's not big enough. It's like they kind of diminish their character. They don't. It's not the same character that we had, or characters that we had,
right,
from the get go. So now they're just acting real scared.
Mm-hmm. Well, not Connie, just Kelly.
Well, Kelly, yeah. So I don't think Kelly would be a big enough character to do that to. Maybe Connie. We see Daryl get a little angry.
Yeah, and that could happen. And I like that they actually had Luke say, like, "How's my people?" So I like that they kind of let us remind us that Luke came in with Connie, Kelly, and all them. So not that I forgot, but.
Yeah.
I like when he was like, "Yo, where's my people?" Because those are always going to be his people. 20 years from now, that's going to be his people.
No, it don't work like that.
No, just like look at Maggie. She been gone for years. She came back. She's like, "Yo, they need to give us back our home."
And look, and I told you they work like that.
That's because you don't like Maggie, but Maggie, those are her people.
I don't have anything against Maggie, but our people, they're not Maggie's people anymore.
I'm going to say there are people again. There might, it was like a little family, a family reunion. You guys scuffle, you guys might fight, but you still family. And that's how I feel. Like, look at Rick. Rick been gone forever. You know how happy people would be if Rick pops up? Like, but
that's different. Rick was taken.
Yeah.
Maggie just left.
She had to leave.
And Luke, and I kind of forgive Luke, because Luke just, he went to find love. He found love, and he just stayed with it. So that's a difference, because Luke was still a part of one of the 3 communities. Yeah. Well, one of the 2 communities.
Yeah.
He was part of one of the 2 communities. But Maggie just went and did her own thing. And the only reason she came back is because she needed help.
True.
In fact, that's the only reason she's out there this episode. It seems like right now Maggie is using this. That's what it just feels like to me. Now we got to go help you get Herschel back.
Man, it's not just Herschel that's taking. It's a lot of kids. Taking.
She's not thinking about those other kids.
That is true. Each person only asks about their kid. Where's Coco? Where's Herschel? I'm like, wait, y'all know there are like 6 kids missing, right?
Yo, Maggie's satisfied right now.
A baby. How they take a baby? Like she's like in diapers. She's not even walking, I don't think. I mean, she probably barely walking. The last time we saw Coco was like a baby.
Coco might still be at the Commonwealth.
Yeah, because I don't see how you travel with the baby in these conditions.
I mean, you can't have the baby out there working. Right. Can't put her in the field.
The baby needs formula. It's like a baby.
Yeah.
Or it might be at a formula stage, but still. All right. Well, that is all we got, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. And hopefully next week is even better. I mean, well, it has to be. It has to be better than this one. So
they will have to go hard these next 2 episodes.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah.
Because I can't see them, carrying on like this right here.
Right. Well, what was the point of bringing that villain in, the new villain, just to kill him that quick? Like, they let Hornsby last longer than he did, and he was better villain than Hornsby.
Well, the thing is, they're moving too fast. Mm-hmm. Everything seems so rushed. Like I said, they brought back Alexandria, but for what?
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason behind that right now.
It's almost trying to will him in, like, okay, let's hurry up and will him in. Let's finish this out. And then now in 2023, boom, that's what they keep showing us. Boom, we're going to have all these spinoffs. Boom, you can watch all the other ones. Like, Fear the Walking Dead is on season 8. I'm like, what? Fear still feels new. I'm like, season 8? When I saw a trailer, I'm like, season 8? Damn.
Yeah, it does feel new.
So, all right, guys, that is it. Thank you so much. I'm Nicole.
I'm Gary.
Bye.